I never thought my life would change because of a single awkward conversation in the snow. But here I was, standing in my neighbor's driveway with my back to her, heart hammering like a drum in my chest, while the flakes kept falling around us like they were trying to bury my stupid idea before it even left my mouth. The cold bit through my black coat, but that wasn't what made me shiver. It was the way she looked at me, those big, surprised eyes, soft brown hair cascading over her shoulders, the beige cardigan wrapped around her like a hug she was offering the whole world. Her name was Emma, 24 years old, the girl next door who always smiled when she took out the trash and who baked cookies for the entire block every Christmas. I was 27, freshly dumped, freshly unemployed after a layoff, and freshly terrified that my family's annual holiday gathering would turn into another interrogation about why I was still single. So I did the only thing my panicked brain could come up with. I turned around, looked her dead in the eyes, and said, "Emma, I need you to pretend to be my girlfriend for 1 week. Just until my parents stop asking why I'm such a failure." She blinked once, twice, snow catching in her lashes. Then came the line that would haunt me and save me for the rest of my life. "Do we have to kiss?" That single question hung between us like the first snowflake that decides to stick. I laughed nervously, but inside I was already falling, because Emma wasn't just saying yes or no. She was asking the real question: how far are we willing to go before this stops being pretend? Hey everyone, if you're watching this right now, I hope you're wrapped in a blanket with hot chocolate, because this is the full story of how asking my neighbor to fake date me turned into the most terrifying, beautiful, heartbreaking, and healing week of my entire life. Stick around till the end, because I promise the ending will leave you believing in second chances. And if it does, smash that like button, subscribe for more real-life stories that feel like movies, and drop a comment telling me the craziest thing you've ever done for love. Let's dive in. My name is Alex. 3 months earlier, my girlfriend of 4 years had packed her bags and left with the words, "You're just stuck, Alex. I need someone who's going somewhere." The layoff came 2 weeks later. Suddenly, I was back in my childhood suburb, renting the tiny house next to Emma's, living off savings in Raymond, and dreading the annual family Christmas trip to my parents' cabin in the mountains. Every year it was the same, Dad's booming voice asking when I was going to man up and settle down. Mom's worried eyes, my older brother parading his perfect wife and kids. This year they'd already booked an extra room for my +1. I had none. So on December 18th, with the first real snowfall of the season dusting the lawns, I walked across our shared driveway and knocked on Emma's door. She opened it wearing that white ribbed top and the oversized beige cardigan that somehow made her look both cozy and breathtaking. "Hey neighbor," she teased. "You here for sugar or emotional support?" I blurted everything. The breakup, the layoff, the family pressure, the lie I'd already told my mom on the phone 2 days ago. "Yeah, I'm bringing someone special." Emma listened without interrupting, snow falling on her shoulders like glitter. When I finally finished, she tilted her head and said softly, "1 week, no feelings, no complications." I nodded so fast I almost gave myself whiplash. She bit her lip, thought for a long moment, and then whispered that question that still gives me goosebumps. "Do we have to kiss?" I swear the world stopped. "Only if it looks fake otherwise," I managed. She laughed, a real laugh that warmed the air between us, and said, "Okay, Alex, but we need ground rules and practice." That night we sat on her couch with mugs of peppermint tea while the snow piled up outside. She made me write the rules on a napkin. 1. Hold hands in public. 2. Use pet names. 3. No real kissing unless absolutely necessary for the story. 4. After New Year's we go back to normal neighbors. 5. If either of us catches real feelings, we confess immediately and call it off. I thought it was foolproof. I was an idiot. The next morning we started dating boot camp. Emma showed up at my door in jeans and a red scarf, cheeks pink from the cold. First lesson: how you look at me like I hung the moon. She made me practice staring into her eyes without laughing. I failed the first 6 times because her eyes were the color of melted chocolate, and I kept noticing the tiny freckle just above her left eyebrow. By noon we were walking arm in arm down the snowy sidewalk, practicing casual conversation. She told me about her life, how she'd moved here after her mom died 2 years ago, how she worked as a graphic designer from home, because crowds still made her anxious, how she secretly wanted to illustrate children's books, but was terrified of showing anyone her drawings. I told her about losing my job at the marketing firm, how my ex had said I was emotionally unavailable, how I was scared I'd become exactly what my dad always warned me about, a man who peaked in college. By day 3, we were pros at the small stuff. We'd wave at Mrs. Henderson across the street like a real couple. We posted a single Instagram story, me kissing her cheeks, technically allowed under Rule 3 because it was for the story, while she laughed in the snow. My mom texted immediately, "She's beautiful. Can't wait to meet her." Emma read it over my shoulder and whispered, "Your mom sounds nice." Mine used to send me heart emojis every single day. That was the first time I saw the crack in her armor. She turned away quickly, but I caught the shine in her eyes. The real test came on December 22nd when my family arrived early for a pre-cabin dinner at the local steakhouse. Emma wore a soft cream sweater that hugged her the way I suddenly wished I could. My dad shook her hand like she was royalty. My mom hugged her so tight I thought she'd break. My brother's wife pulled her aside and said, "He's never looked at anyone the way he looks at you." I almost choked on my water because it was true, and I wasn't supposed to feel it yet. That night, back in my driveway under the porch light, the snow falling harder now, Emma looked up at me and said, "Your family is lovely, but Alex, they believe this so much it's starting to scare me." I stepped closer without thinking. "We're doing great," I reassured her. The wind howled, she shivered. I wrapped my coat around both of us like an idiot in a movie. Our faces were inches apart. She whispered, "Do we have to kiss right now, for practice?" My heart answered before my brain could lie, "Only if you want to." She didn't pull away. Our lips brushed, soft, tentative, tasting like peppermint and possibility. It lasted 3 seconds. We both stepped back, breathing hard. "That was convincing," she said, voice shaky. I couldn't speak. Rule 5 was already in danger. Christmas Eve at the cabin was supposed to be the grand finale. The whole family crammed into the cozy wooden house with the fireplace roaring and the tree glittering. Snow blanketed everything outside like a postcard. Emma played her part perfectly, helping Mom in the kitchen, laughing at Dad's terrible jokes, even slow dancing with me too. "Have yourself a merry little Christmas," while my brother filmed on his phone. But something had shifted. Every time her hand found mine, it felt heavier, warmer. Every time she called me, "baby," in front of everyone, my chest tightened like it was trying to tell me something important. Then the challenge hit like an avalanche. My ex-girlfriend Rachel showed up, not because she was invited. She'd heard through mutual friends I was finally bringing someone home, and decided to swing by with holiday cookies. Like the manipulative queen she was, she cornered me in the kitchen while Emma was outside making snow angels with my niece. "Alex, you look happy, too happy. Is she real or did you pay her?" The words stung because they were half true. I defended Emma with everything I had. "She's the best thing that's ever happened to me." Rachel laughed, that sharp laugh I used to think was cute. "Prove it. Kiss her in front of everyone like you mean it." I walked outside into the blizzard, like snow hard in my throat. Emma was brushing snow off her coat, laughing with my niece. I took her hands. "Rachel's here. She wants proof. I need to kiss you for real this time, not practice, not fake." Emma's eyes searched mine. The wind whipped her hair across her face. "Alex, do you want to? Or do you have to?" I answered with the truth that had been building since the first day. "I want to. More than anything." She smiled, the smallest, bravest smile I'd ever seen. "Then kiss me like you mean it." I did. Right there in the falling snow, with my entire family watching from the porch, with Rachel's cookies probably melting in her hands, I kissed Emma like she was the only real thing in my life. It wasn't for show. It wasn't pretend. It was messy and desperate and perfect. Lips cold from the air, hearts racing, snowflakes landing on our eyelashes like blessings. When we pulled apart, my mom was crying happy tears. My dad was grinning like he'd won the lottery. And Emma was looking at me like I'd just handed her the moon. But the story wasn't over. Later that night, after everyone went to bed, Emma sat on the porch steps wrapped in my coat and said the words that almost broke us. "Alex, I can't do this anymore. The rules are shattered. I'm catching feelings so hard it hurts." I lost my mom and I promised myself I'd never let anyone close enough to leave me again. If we keep going and you decide it was just for the week, I won't survive it. Tears mixed with snow on her cheeks. I knelt in front of her, snow soaking my knees, and poured out everything I'd been terrified to say. Emma, I've been falling since the moment you asked, do we have to kiss? I don't want pretend anymore. I want mornings where you steal my hoodies. I want to see your drawings and tell the world how talented you are. I want to be the guy who never leaves. If you'll have me, for real this time. She cried harder, but they were different tears. She pulled me up and kissed me again, slower this time, like she was memorizing every second. Okay, she whispered against my lips. Real, no more rules. The rest of the week blurred into something magical. We built snowmen with my niece and told her we were super in love. We stayed up until 3 a.m. by the fireplace while I read her my terrible poetry from college, and she showed me her sketchbook. Pages and pages of children's book, illustrations that were so beautiful I cried. On New Year's Eve, we stood on the same porch where it all started, fireworks exploding over the snowy town, and made a new promise: no more pretending, only truth. When we drove back home on January 2nd, the driveway between our houses didn't feel like a boundary anymore. It felt like the shortest distance between two hearts that had finally found home. My family still texts every week asking when the wedding is. Rachel sent a single message: I was wrong, she's real. And Emma, she moved her desk into my living room 2 months later so we could work side by side. Her first children's book comes out next Christmas. The story of a boy who asked his neighbor to pretend and ended up finding forever. So here's the message I want you to carry with you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help, even when it feels ridiculous. Sometimes the person next door is carrying the exact same fears you are. And sometimes, when you're standing in the snow with your heart on the line, the answer to, do we have to kiss, becomes the beginning of the rest of your life. Don't be afraid to cross that driveway. Don't be afraid to feel. If this story made you believe in love again, if it reminded you that real connection can grow from the most awkward beginnings, then please do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people see it. Subscribe to the channel, because I've got dozens more true to life stories waiting. And comment below. Have you ever pretended something and it turned real? Or what's the scariest question you've ever asked someone you cared about? I read every single one. Thank you for spending these 40+ minutes with me. I'm Alex, this is Emma's and my story, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay warm out there. And remember, sometimes the best kisses start with the simplest question in the snow.